The Red Dirt D&D podcast is brought to you by Pro Laser Cuts. The Oklahoma company provides pre-made and customizable design laser cut dice towers, tokens, and more, developed by a gamer for gamers, and now available to enhance your tabletop game. Pro Laser Cuts products can be found at many Oklahoma City area game stores, local events, and now available online at prolasercuts.com. That's laser and cuts with a Z, Pro Laser Cuts. And by SD Way Gaming, where dice goblins unite. Our friends at SD Way Gaming celebrate the beautiful dice players handpick for their games and splendor. SD Way Gaming has expanded to include many tabletop gaming varieties, accessories, and similar fun necessities to include a service for your dice addiction. You can shop for a variety of products at sdwaygaming.com or find SD Way Gaming on Facebook. Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Gaz, an orc barbarian in search of adventure.
I'm Konnor Shenold. I play Konnor with a K, a Kobold Sorcerer who is a continuous thorn in the Empire's side.
I'm Johnny Payne, and I play the half-elf roguish warlock, Zonimus Dinar, who's going to take back everything he's ever lost.
I'm Kiri Hester, and I play Poppy Tealeaf, a halfling druid who is determined to protect the frontier from the might of the Empire.
I'm Brooke Bullock, and I play Mokrin Stoneshaper, a young dwarf sorcerer finding his true family as revealed by the secrets of the frontier.
And I'm Ash King, your dungeon master. Join us now for Tales from the Callben Frontier. Dark Canyon, a place of mystery, a place few have ever seen and have lived to tell the tale. You, my brave adventurers, find yourselves in the company of the elusive Ghost Elves, standing in what could be described as ground level town square. You find yourselves in the company of Ghost Elf warriors as the crowd of curious onlookers parts to allow a stately older female dressed in this very fine silkware as she approaches and comes to stand. Nova and Kotori approach her and both give a very brief bow of respect.
Do we have her attention?
You do.
I will bow, and I'm going to maintain eye contact while I bow and stand back up. Zonimus Dinar and friends. And I'm motioning first to Gaz.
I also bow.
When he bows, I will say Gaz, Mokrin, Poppy, Konnor. And I'm saying this in Elvish. Not all of us here speak your language or the language of any elf, but I can help to translate unless you speak the common tongue.
It has been time, but I can speak the trader's tongue.
Have you had a chance to speak to Kotori?
Briefly.
So you know that I bring you truth when I tell you that I released him, allowed him to escape. I did not release him, he was not my prisoner, but I did allow for him to escape the Dwarves.
He tells the tales of how he was captured.
I've convinced the Dwarves that he allowed himself to be captured so that they don't think they have one up on you. Boy, that was a risky comment. You have the Dwarves' attention because of your attacks.
Good.
Which, of course, I am sure is in turn because of their attack against the Great Mother River.
Your thoughts would be correct.
So I've come here to ask you, do you see a way to resolve this without further bloodshed or any loss of life?
I have ignored them for as long as I could, and I would be happy to continue to ignore them, but their actions speak louder than their words.
Great wise ghost elf, with all due respect, have you tried to talk to them? Don't get me wrong, you have communicated with them, but have you tried talking to them?
We rarely concern ourselves with the affairs of outsiders. It is only when outsiders thrust their affairs upon us that we deem necessary to intervene.
What is the dam going to take from you and your people?
Water is life. Water is the source of life. To dam the river upstream would put a stranglehold on our lives and the lives of all down further stream.
I know you don't want to deal with outsiders, but if there was room to discuss this with them, do you have any wisdom that would lead to an alternative where you would get your water and they could also get water?
I do not stop them from getting the water they need. I stop them from taking everything.
Well, I don't know if you have much interaction with dwarves, but they're not going to back down. They're going to keep building the dam, and your attacks are going to make them also build an army. And they will meet you in battle. And I'm not telling you what the outcome is going to be, although I know what side I'm rooting for, but there will be losses on both sides. Is that something you're prepared for?
We make our peace. For many generations, we have not had to fight in this manner. Not since the great battle against the conqueror. But we will not stand for conquerors on our land again, and will not sit idly by while these new conquerors from the east invade and take and take and take until one day they will have all. We will be dead before we bend our knees in supplication ever again.
He bows deeply. You have created a fantastic home here in what my people would call the side of a mountain. How did you do this? These homes, these shapes, these rooms, they aren't completely natural.
The water began the work. We finished it.
I look at them and I find that it reminds me in some ways of home. There are differences, but the dwarven way of crafting and the ghost elf way of crafting might have something in common. What if we could open parlay with them and find a way to see what else you have in common? Surely your people don't just live here in the canyon and in the small section of greenery that comes from the water. Surely you have figured out ways to expand the Great Mother's reach. Maybe that's something you could teach them, the better way.
We take no more than what we need. The Great Mother blesses, and we accept, and we thank her. I have felt the rumblings. I have felt the cries, the pain, the fear, the displacement of that which was once here. And yet, these people who have come, these people who have insisted upon trying to persist in a place that does not want them.
And I'm going to look over to Katori and say, Majesty?
Matron.
Matron. I'm going to speak for myself here on this one. My friends will have to speak for themselves, but you said that you survived the battle against the Conqueror.
I did not personally survive.
But your kind did. Seems like at its core we have a lot more in common. So, I ask you this, and again, I only speak for myself, and I look to all of you. I'll take one step forward and say, what can I do to help?
As I have spoken, were these people, these dwarves, were they to stop their activity to control the river, I have no quarrel with them.
The journey has been long and hot, and we are hungry. Would you allow us time to discuss amongst ourselves while we sup?
Hospitality will be granted unless it is proven otherwise dangerous.
Would it also be possible for Gaz to catch up with some old friends?
The ones who left and then returned.
It's been a while since I've actually gotten to see them, and I certainly wouldn't mind it again. But before that, my thoughts on what young Zonimus had been talking about. It seems to me, and maybe Mokrin can say this better, but if you make it too expensive for them to make this dam, they might stop.
But if you make it more prosperous for them, then they would definitely work with you in conjunction.
These concepts are foreign to me.
More productive, to bring more life. What if there were more places for the mice to live, for the birds to roost, by spreading the Great Mother River to more of its reach?
Spread or dilute?
I think you were right. Right now the dwarves is thinking your word dilute. But I think the Ghost Elves might have a way that the word spread is better. The Ghost Elves, you have a way of maybe, look at the way you have shaped this mountainside. You didn't dilute the mountainside. You were able to bring it back better. It is just a thought.
A thought I must mull.
Consider this. The water will bring farm will bring grass will bring cattle. All this together is a bounty from the land, a gift from the river. The river just needs to be nudged. Now I understand that they can't have it all, but then I play against myself and ask, how do you split a river?
I think the problem is also, once you start bringing people, they bring more people. And eventually, they will have to dam up the river. Maybe it is best to stop them now.
So again, I ask of you, I'm at your service.
And I say I am also with you. As far as I'm concerned, they are invaders. They are conquerors of the Caliban, and I am not happy with it.
When you say they're conquerors of the Caliban, Zonimus puffs up at the conqueror.
But we also know that there is another danger to the Caliban. This is a trouble. But as I have seen, you seem to have it well at hand. There is another problem, something that we have been made aware of. You spoke of a conqueror, the previous evil to the Caliban, the reason the Caliban exists in the first place.
The reason the desert stretches as far as it does.
I kind of sputter out in Orcish. I was going to hold that for later.
I see no reason. They need to know if this is happening now, that we must let it be known that there is danger approaching. A new evil. My friends here have faced the Empire as it tries to rear its ugly head again right here in the Caliban. Much worse than the Dwarves. We face again the might of the old Empire.
Greetings and salutations, my friends. I'm Michael Cross. So great to have a moment to talk with you during this mid-show break. First off, I want to invite you all to join us as Patreon members. The money we raise helps us pay for things like the music and sound effects you hear on the show, as well as money to go to events and make new fans. When you become a Patreon member, you get our episodes 4 days early, bonus content, access to our Discord server, and full versions of our roundtable discussions. You'll be joining other fans like Scott Wise, Don Mills, Heath Mormon, and the Lady Kate. So join us right now at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. Another way to support us is by getting your very own Red Dirt merchandise. You can find things like hats, hoodies, mugs, and t-shirts. Just click on the merch tab at reddirtdnd.com or reddirtrpg.com. Since 2020, the Red Dirt D&D podcast has been close to another Oklahoma actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast, D20 to Curtain. And me personally, I've had a chance to work on stage with some of the actors on the show. So when you get done with this episode, you should check them out.
Hello, fellow D&Ders. My name is Jerome.
I'm Jennifer. I'm Jody.
And together with our friends Kara, Timothy, and Jared, we are the cast of the D20 to Curtain podcast, where Oklahoma theater geeks and their friends hit record and explore our new addiction to Dungeons & Dragons.
We think D&D is more than just a game. It helps us tap into the enduring power of storytelling.
We combine live gameplay with behind-the-curtain episodes to share our experiences, insights, habits, discoveries, and passion for D&D with anyone who will listen.
We hope D20 to Curtain will make you laugh, cry, maybe even make your experience at your table even more satisfying. Check us out anywhere you listen to podcasts or visit us at d20tocurtain.com or at D20 to Curtain on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We look forward to having you. All we ask is that you have fun, be kind, and play the role.
If you're looking for more content, make sure to check out our YouTube page with Mysteries of Beatrix live every Wednesday. Keys from the Golden Vault from the Red Dirt Outlaws dropping every Tuesday at noon, and Plausible Deniability every other Thursday at 7 p.m. So come check it out at youtube.com/@RedDirtRPG or search for Red Dirt RPG on YouTube. And we would love to hear from you. Find us on social media at Red Dirt RPG. You can also get in touch with us through our website at reddirtrpg.com. In the meantime, make sure and subscribe to this podcast and leave a comment on your favorite podcatcher so others can find us. All right, I think that's everything I need to tell you. Right now, let's head back to Red Dirt D&D.
As you begin to speak of the Conqueror, there's a hush that falls over, and then a murmur. The matron holds a hand up to silence the crowd. With me, now. She calls out.
Follow right now.
She calls out in Elvish, "Council, now!"
Yeah, this is where we're supposed to be.
Big table time.
And she basically leads you to, and it's almost, you see like the shock on the faces of some of the other Ghost Elves as to kind of the whole, outsiders never get invited farther in. Like they have to stay at the gates. Like that's the rule. They stay at the gates. What has got her so shook up?
Even further in, but council chambers.
Concern.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of one of those, like, you have to go up, some stairs, up a ladder, and then down into what you can assume is her private dwelling, but also council chambers.
The tunnel, the pathways there is basically smooth stone with simplicity. Is there artwork as far as like shading and chalks and other elements? What does it look like as we go?
They've left it pretty natural, but you do see where they have kind of decorated it with very natural paints and, just depicted different scenes of, just daily life, and you actually like look down at the bottom, there's like some kids' doodles.
I am imagining Konnor and Poppy just like trying to climb up these ladders, having to boost each other up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's a funny picture in my mind.
Thomas was a little leery going in here because he didn't bring it up before I mentioned it, just to kind of give an insight, because we would have talked about it at some point maybe. He's so close to just being done and walking away, but that he can't because Gideon's holding him here.
Yes.
He's so done with this Empire, Wiley Smokes, et cetera thing, that it's like, he's not done with it. I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist. I'm not going to really talk about it. I'm not going to acknowledge that it happened. You know what I mean? Because it's just so, like...
Does New Wisdom's Onimus know, though, that if he walks away and ignores it, it's still going to be there and eat him over time?
New Wisdom's Onimus is the coping mechanism.
Okay, gotcha.
So, it'll all come together. It'll all mesh.
It goes without being said that I left Wildfire to guard the cart.
Okay.
Yep.
So we are led into the council.
Yes.
I looked at the friendly faces that I've met here. Are they coming with us? Are any of them on the council?
No, they do not seem to be on the council. They're more low-level warriors.
Scouts and warriors. Okay.
She brings you all into the council chambers, and you see a series of elders who all come forward, and it's cushions on the floor type, fire pit right in the center where you all can sit around. And they do bring, sensing that this is probably going to take some time, they bring some, kind of light refreshments. That roasted kind of mushroom and
dark thing,
herbs, and anything that they've kind of foraged. Because you get the sense that, yes, this is where they hang out and this is where they live, but they probably, once the sun goes down, go up top and forage and bring in other. There's a wheat bread and water and some kind of fermented drink, not quite mead, but they do invite you to come in and sit down, and she takes a place of honor and looks at you all and says, "No one has spoken of the Conqueror in generations."
I understand that it might become a shock. My friends here have a tale to tell, that they have found the remnants of what they call the Empire of the Eternal Flame. But I also have something I have been mulling over, and they should also learn it at the same time as you do. Something that happened a few moons ago, when I was in my last days with the Caliban Guardians. We were adventuring far, far to the west, in a mountainous region, and we found demons pouring out of caves. We were tasked to go in and find them. Two, here, Micaiah and Casa, and another fellow companion, a human. We finally found a sorcerer as he lay dying from my sword. He talked about a coming war when the Caliban would once again fall to the old powers. I did not understand what he meant then, till I met my new friends. But this is something that should concern everyone here. The orcs, the elves, everyone. If what they say is true, a battle over a dam is minor in comparison to what we need to do to stop a rise of the Empire.
Matron, council members, I'm not going to be shy about this. Cimarron, you may or may not know, was not killed.
They do not like that name.
I was hoping they wouldn't. He was not killed, he was imprisoned.
Hold on a second, Zon. You're making this just sound so just not as much fun as it should be. You just be quiet for just a minute. And I'm just going to druidcraft the fire to help me illustrate, and I'm gonna tell a story. Listen, why are we going to do all this cool stuff but not tell it as a good story? Sounds like a book report when you give it. Some of these things you may already know. Some of these things may live in the legends of your people and the people before you. But 5,000 years ago, a man was in power by a name we will not repeat. We shall call him the Emperor for now. Title he took, didn't I?
Conqueror.
I like that one. Conqueror. So the Conqueror, not a great guy, decided to take over the Caliban, as I'm sure you're aware. And the people of the Caliban, before it was they banded together, the gnolls, the orcs, the elves, and they worked together alongside Thundercrack, who was able to gather 4 gifts from the Sky Sisters and Sneaky Coyote to help imprison the Conqueror into what I've been calling Cimarron Supermax, a prison of sorts. And his descendants, we'll call them, they were not imprisoned with him completely. They were living their lives, and they've decided that now's the time that they want to bring him back. So they're working on getting him out of his imprisonment. Unfortunately, they've been moderately successful at gathering things they needed. They have gathered the keys from the 4 key guardians, and they are currently in search of his prison. And they have a pretty good idea where it probably is, near the lair of Thundercrack. Obviously, they don't have a one spot on the map. They've got 50 square miles of desert to look through, but that's a lot smaller spot than the endless miles of the desert. We think we have a shot at taking the key away or keeping him imprisoned, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do it on our own quiet. We may not look like much.
You really don't.
Yeah, I know. I am quite small, but I promise that we've got the power of 2 to 3 gods behind us. And let me tell you right now, as much as you understand that she who weeps doesn't want that river dammed up, she who weeps don't want the Conqueror released either. And I can speak on pretty high authority of that. I'm getting pretty good at interpreting what she says in her not wordness. So I say that to say this. We need as much information as you can give us about a few things. Number 1, everything you know about the Conqueror and his people. Be it legend, fact, fiction, we aren't super picky. Just anything you know could be helpful. It's hard to tell what fact and fiction is with these people, to be honest. Number 2, we would like everything that you know about Thundercrack and or her lair and or any temples wherein we could contact her in any sort of way. And number 3, we need you to keep that river flowing and keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing a great job. I'll just tell you that right now. Great job. Wonderful community here. I'm super supportive of it. You shouldn't have to do all you're doing a great job, Zonimus, but I can help.
Proud of you.
So we came to Fort Russian Water hoping that we could hop a barge, head on down to Lake of Tears. There's supposed to be a place down there where we can get something that is going to help us find our way out to Thundercrack, because she way out west out there. It's going to be a lot faster. I don't want to get into the scientific details of the whole thing, but it's going to be able to transport us and our goods quickly and efficiently over the vast miles of desert. So that's why we came to Fort Russian Water, but we thought while we're here, you guys seem like you're real smart, know a lot of stuff, so we thought we'd ask for that first before heading on south out of town.
What she's trying to say is it's a type of gemstone. It's a type of crystalline structure. and within it, we think we can harness some power that can give us an advantage over this conqueror who's trying to reawaken.
She speaks to the council and lays out your requests to these elders. There are some quiet murmurings amongst the group. They talk amongst themselves for a moment before one kind of leans over and whispers into her ear. She gives a little nod and looks back to you. What you ask is great. We do not hand out secrets lightly. I must confer with council to see if we will meet your requests. Until such time as we have reached a decision, you may partake of our hospitality.
A couple things with that, matron. One is Iopics. Any reaction?
It's a mixed bag because like there's some of them that are like, who?
And then some are like, no.
Yeah.
If it's just a guy named after Iopics, it's not.
Made it seem like you'd be more willing to help the fight against the return of Cimarron. But I understand you needing to confer with council, which begs the second issue. The Dwarves gave us 24 hours to come talk to you, to come to an agreement. I don't expect that agreement to happen, but hey, the clock is ticking.
She looks to the council and gives them the stakes. And then she looks back to you and says, by sunrise, you will have your answer.
So we partake of the hospitality of the Ghost Elves.
And she basically just kind of gives you a motion to depart.
They gave us 24 hours. But what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? What are they going to do in 24 hours? They do not know where we are, nor do they know about this place. Otherwise, they would have already come down here.
That's a good point.
So let them stew for 24,
right.
48, 72 hours. Do what they must. We must head on because our one focus must be in saving and guarding the frontier.
Here's the thing. Elves are long-lived creatures, and sometimes that means they aren't very quick to make bureaucratic-type decisions. Knowing that we have a ticking clock on our backs helps us put a ticking clock on their belt, and so we can make a decision happen and get out of here and get out of their hair so they can deal with the elves when the elves come a-looking for them.
I agree, young puppy. I
Good
understand
news
that we
is-
don't have to go necessarily back.
No, we
should look-
definitely don't. The good thing is we're already south of the fort. We just need to come up with some kind of boat raft situation. If we can get on the water, we can make some real good time heading south.
I think you are right. Hopefully the Ghost Elves themselves might have a way for us to get quickly down to the Lake of Tears.
That's
Okay.
what I'm hoping.
So this whole thing with the dam is going to just, no, you're right. You're right, it is our focus. I need to get focused back on it again. I've just been avoiding it. So the dam is going to take care of itself because every time they try and build it up, the elves are just going to knock it down. As long as we can get the elves to agree that they don't have to kill anyone to do that, maybe eventually the Dwarves will run out of money and back off. But that's just a small band that small band will handle the entire fort in that capacity. Yes, we need to get what we need from them and get moving.
Listen, if it's still a problem after we save the frontier, we can sure as heck come on back and help them work this out. But also, if we make flight a thing, then we're also going to put the railroads out of business. So...
And we might also give the Ghost Elves an advantage in their own war.
Ooh. We gotta find a way to build a boat, mis amigos.
Well, I think we should, for right now, simply rest.
Yep.
And get to know the Ghost Elves better. We have an opportunity that no halfling or dwarf has ever had before. And that is being here. Take your time to learn about these people.
Speaking of something she mentioned, the matron, and Konnor, you might know some of this too, but she said the reason the desert stretches as far as it does, the Empire is the reason that, so this wasn't all desert at one time. Konnor, would you know in your people's history, did the Caliban used to be more genial? Or maybe they might have stories we could ask them.
Yeah, let's just go check, ask around. They probably know more about it. They're elves. They live forever. Well, not forever, but they live a long time, so they probably know more about it than any of us do.
Yeah.
Okay,
to
maybe.
this group, they would seem to live forever.
Exactly.
And then the other thing I was wondering, then maybe if the Caliban used to be not as deserty, then maybe there's some type of partnership with the dwarves to reclaim it and its greenery.
You know, Makrin, I love your optimism. You just don't ever let go of that burning light of optimism, Makrin. I love that about you.
It is quite contagious that Makrin does have this optimism that I have not experienced before.
I just been thinking there's more in common than we think.
Then if we finish our work here, maybe we can transform the Caliban into something for all peoples.
Is there a guard to the council chambers?
Good. My friend, would you know a tavern?
Where can we get some drink?
We have been offered the hospitality.
We want a campfire. I don't think we need...
would like to quench his thirst.
We have been offered your hospitality, and we were looking for a place to quench our thirst.
And my old friend, you do not ask for me? You hear from behind you, Gaz, as you turn and see, just kind of casually leaning up against one of the other buildings, Micaiah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
My old friend, you swine. And I walk up and I do the thing where behind the neck and forehead to forehead. Micaiah.
He just briefly clunk against your forehead.
Micaiah, my friend, how is Casa?
Good.
Good. My friend, come, we must drink, we must talk, because there is much going on. You remember our last adventure.
Would that I could forget.
And I tell you, there is more to that than what we thought at the time. We must drink, we must eat. In the morning, the council will give us their answer.
Well, come on then.
All right. Come, my friends. Tonight we feast with the Ghost Elves.
I have a question.
Miss it for the world.
So it's all stairs and ladders and stuff. I don't want to leave Wildfire down there all night long. Is there a way to get him up here, or am I going to have to do some magic?
Or you ask your 6-foot friend to carry your puppy up.
Yeah.
Do you need me to go get Wildfire?
I do want to check to see if there are people who can take care of our animals, our horses.
Is there like a stable situation?
Right.
These people, they're big on lizards.
We'll go back down there, I assume, and they're talking to everybody. I'm going to turn Wildfire into an armadillo, and then I'm going to just carry him and sing to myself, armadillos keep digging little holes in my backyard. And then once we get up the stairs, I will poof him back into the puppy.
Okay. So he will take you kind of to his dwelling with Casa.
Oh. And Casa, I greet with a big hug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she returns that. Very warm, very welcoming.
We have seen many adventures. I thought never to see you again. I am glad it was not a long goodbye. But we have much to talk about. And my friends here, they have seen more than you and I.
Unfortunately.
They have faced the remnants of the Empire.
Well, you yourself said you guys fought a sorcerer and some demons in a cave?
That was nothing. We thought just some crazy old coot in the mountains. He was bringing demons forth. Now that I think about it, now the puzzle pieces are together.
Let me ask you this, Gaz. You got any talent with a piece of charcoal? Remember what this sorcerer looked like?
Does the sorcerer have a name?
Or that?
I pull off my backpack and I pull open a pocket and pull out some chalk. I will draw a figure of what the sorcerer was.
You actually see Casa, she's just kind of like sitting there relaxing, and then she just slowly opens up her hand and minor illusion comes up, and she just kind of like displays, this little like hologram of what she remembers.
Adorable, amazing, so jealous
of, this sorcerer.
Just random guy. Just making sure it wasn't. Is he elementally?
No, he had demons.
But yes, that is what he looked like. I will allow them to tell their tale.
Well, you missed an amazing telling of the story by Poppy, by Firelight. So, yeah, the Empire. Cimarron is imprisoned. There is an heir with the necessary blood needed to help in his release. along with the keys of the Guardians, which I'm sure you two have heard of, the stories of the Guardians.
They just kind of look to one another with that look of like, so it's that whole, should we tell them, should we not tell them? Kind of almost the same encounter with the council. And Casa just eventually just kind of rolls her eyes. You see Micaiah is almost like about to put his hand over her mouth and she smacks him on the leg. Typical married couple nonsense. And the elders wouldn't want us to say, so you didn't hear it from me.
Of course not.
But our people are supposed to be the keepers of the secrets, yes? Longest lived out of the elves, the most hidden. We have the least encounters with the outside world, except for those of us, who decide to leave every once in a while because, the itch just needs to be scratched. They tell stories of guardians about the fire during the nights, and the tales of how Thundercrack received the keys and then gave the keys to the guardians for them to watch over so that Cimarron would not be freed. As far as where Cimarron's prison is located, that is a secret that cannot be revealed.
Okay. So, what's been happening lately is everything you just said is going to come undone because the keys have been discovered.
Wonderful. I love a good apocalypse.
But here's the thing. Young Zonimus mentions about this heir. The heir that they mention is Wiley Smokes Moran.
Get out of my hut.
I would, but I have nowhere to go.
You stop wasting my water. What are you telling me?
You have made the acquaintance of Wiley.
We have fought him on a few occasions, yes.
So have we.
Little rat.
Recently.
That was years ago that we ran into them.
This has been some time.
He apparently has become something more.
I told you.
No, we're talking like exponentially, extremely more powerful than he was less than a year ago.
I know, I told you. No one ever listens to me. I don't know why.
There's more to talk about.
You know what? Pour me a drink.
Red Dirt D&D, Tales from the Caliban Frontier is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Mokran Stoneshaper, Johnny Payne as Zonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, Konnor Shenold as Konnor the Kobold, and I'm Michael Cross as Gaz. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician P.J. Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride. Our sound effects and additional music courtesy of Monument Studios, Andrew Sitkov, and TabletopAudio.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure to rate us and leave a comment. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and RedDirtDND.com. Tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D and share us on social media. And we have new content on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/RedDirtDND. And check us out on our YouTube page. Just search for Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/RedDirtDND. We have several giving levels, including early listening to shows and access to our Discord server. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban Frontier.
The ones who left and then returned.
It's been a while. Oh, golly, really?
I realize I'm over here going Johnny voice, Johnny voice, Johnny voice.
It's been a while since I've seen... Okay.
No, the thing is, I didn't...
I call it.
It's been a great while since.
Captain Cheerio.
Yes.
Menzo Baronjaw.
Menzo Baronjaw.
We've got the power of 2 to 3 gods behind us. So...
2.5.
So in Elven, she basically speaks your demands to the rest of the council.
Requests. We're not demanding anything. We're asking politely.
She recognizes the one word demand and goes, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Sorry, how do you say pretty, pretty, please?
I told the Elvish word for demand. I told the Elvish Elvish word for right now. The return of Cimarron. Like Harry Potter, I'm not afraid to say his name.
By sunrise, you will have your answer.
We thank you, matron.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
Listen, I'm easily startled as a human being. Every time we're so quiet and Captain Cheerio comes in, it gets me. It's my heart.
And I'm trying to name drop Hyopics, as in like, man, they're serious. They like know this 1,000-year-old dude. He was involved in that. You know, bring stuff.
Exactly. So new Frontier Guardians huddle.
Wait, are you
the new Frontier Guardians? I got DC comic books going in my head.
Because I got Caliban Guardians. Okay.
New Frontier huddle.
I say that we.
What's the point of huddling if you're just going to talk that loudly? I'm just saying.
She has a point.
You're right. I should keep it down. So, in their own war.
Ooh, they're coming in with tanks.
Airplanes.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Do we know that?
I just think about filling up.
Fly to the Ghost Elves. Ghost Elves. Let us fly.
Fill up bags of gunpowder and go drop it over the fort and then shoot fiery arrows into them.
Micaiah.
He just briefly just clunk against your forehead.
Like Pegasus and Hercules.
Yes. Like Klingons.
Yes.
Yes. Nice.
We're the Guardians, the next generation.
The Guardians of the Gap Frontier. The Frontier.
Yeah.
Call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy.
We're the preventers.
We don't have a raccoon, but we do have a wolf.
We do have a kobold.
You just need to awaken a tree, and you're good to go.
Listen, I have access to that spell now. Give me a tree in 8 hours.
Unfortunately, I think that makes me Drax.
Yes.
I've been thinking about that this entire time. I'm like, oh no. He's playing Drax.
Maybe we should start riding lizards.
Step away from you.
I'm going to...
If a lizard rides a lizard, is it like a centaur riding a horse?
And pull out some chalk.
He really only does stick figures. It's going to be.
I draw. It's one circle, a stick down, a stick, and it's two arms. I say, he looked like that.
That's not helpful at all.
And then you draw a pointy hat to illustrate that he was a wizard.
a little staff. There's little like
squiggle
sparks
lines
coming off the staff, and then you draw like a little demon in the corner. It's like.
That's not exactly what I meant.
You're good as an artist as a guy I knew who used to play guitar.
That's so sad.
I just imagine I am Drax. Yes, he looks like that. I just see an image of him trying to tongue out, trying to draw something, and then she just goes poof.
I compare the two drawings and be like, yeah, I guess that totally.
That's
looks
exactly
like
it.
Well, you missed an amazing telling of the story by Poppy, by Firelight.
Listen.
I'm praising you.
I can't tell when you're being sarcastic or not.
Me neither.
Neither can I.
Metaphors. They go right over his head. No, they won't. I won't catch them.
That's carbonite.
Tiglo carbon. Yeah.
Wonderful. I love a good apocalypse.
Oh, your friends are kind of edgy.
That's why I keep them around.
Except you didn't keep them around, they left you.
Guess who the heir is?
Oh, that's the best punchline.
God, don't do it. Don't, I swear.
Well, let me guess. One-eyed Billy Bob Thornton.
Close.